Alright YouTubers, welcome back to War Thunder with the Angry Nerd. And we're back in the Air Force's portion of the game. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Grumman TBF Avenger. The Grumman TBF Avenger was a torpedo bomber developed initially for the United States Navy and Marine Corps, and eventually used by the air and naval services of many countries around the world. In 1939, the U.S. Navy was wanting a replacement for the obsolete Douglas TBD Devastator, the U.S. Navy's main torpedo bomber, which had been introduced in 1935. Bids were accepted from several companies, but Grumman's TBF design was selected as the TBD's replacement, and two prototypes were ordered by the Navy in April 1940. Designed by Leroy Grumman, the first prototype was called the XTBF-1. It was first flown on 7 August 1941. Grumman's first torpedo bomber was the heaviest single-engine aircraft of World War II. The Avenger was also the first design to feature the new compound angle wing folding mechanism created by Grumman, intended to maximize storage space on aircraft carriers. The engine it used was the Wright R2620 Cyclone 14 twin-row radial engine, which produced 1900 horsepower. On the afternoon of 7 December 1941, Grumman held a ceremony to open a new manufacturing plant and display the new TBF to the public. Coincidentally, on that day, the Imperial Japanese Navy attacked Pearl Harbor, as Grumman soon found out. After the ceremony was over, the plant was quickly sealed off to guard against possible sabotage. The Avenger entered U.S. service in 1942 and first saw action during the Battle of Midway. In early June 1942, a shipment of more than 100 aircraft was sent to the naval base at Pearl Harbor. Ironically, they arrived a few hours after the three U.S. carriers departed from Pearl Harbor en route to participate in the pivotal Battle of Midway. However, 6 TBF-1s were present on Midway Island as part of VT-8, Torpedo Squadron 8, while the rest of the squadron flew Devastators from the Hornet. Unfortunately, both types of torpedo bombers suffered heavy casualties. Out of the 6 Avengers, 5 were shot down and the other returning heavily damaged, with one of its gunners killed and the other gunner and pilot injured. Nonetheless, the U.S. torpedo bombers were credited with drawing the Japanese combat air patrols down to the deck so the American dive bombers could successfully hit the Japanese carriers. Despite the loss of 5 of the 6 Avengers on its combat debut, it survived in service to become one of the outstanding torpedo bombers of World War II. Greatly modified after the war, it remained in use until the 1960s. The aircraft was operated by 3 crew members: a pilot, a turret gunner, and a radio man / bombardier / ventral gunner. One 30 caliber machine gun was mounted in the nose. A 50 caliber 12.7 millimeter was mounted to the right next to the gunner's head in a rear-facing electrically powered turret. A single 30 caliber hand-fired machine gun was mounted ventrally under the tail. Later models of the TBF/TBM dispensed with the nose-mounted gun for one 50 caliber gun in each wing, per pilot's request for better forward firepower and increased strafing ability. The Avenger had a large bomb bay, allowing for one Mark 13 torpedo, a single 2,000-pound bomb, or up to 4 500-pound bombs. The aircraft was overall rugged and stable, and pilots said it flew like a truck, for better or worse. With its good radio facilities, docile handling, and long range, the Grumman Avenger also made an ideal command aircraft for Commander's Air Group, or CAGs, with a 30,000-foot or 10,000-meter ceiling and a fully loaded range of 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometers. It was better than any previous American torpedo bomber, and better than its Japanese counterpart, the obsolete Nakajima B-5N Kate. Later Avenger models carried radar equipment for anti-submarine warfare and airborne early warning roles. The radars available in 1943 were very bulky because they contained vacuum tube technology. Because of this, radar was at first carried only by the roomy TBF Avengers, but not on the smaller and faster fighters. During the war, the Avenger was also used by the Royal Navy Fleet Air Arm, though initially known as the TBF Tarpon. The Royal Navy soon switched to the name Avenger. Beginning in 1943, British squadrons began seeing service in the Pacific, as well as conducting anti-submarine warfare missions over their home waters. The aircraft was also provided to the Royal New Zealand Air Force, which equipped 4 squadrons with the type during the conflict. The most famous incident involving the Avenger aircraft was not a combat incident, but was the disappearance of Flight 19, a squadron of 5 Avengers lost in December 1945 over the Bermuda Triangle. Through the course of the war, 9,837 TBF Avengers were built, with the -3 being the most numerous at around 4,600 units. Many Avengers survived into the 21st century, working as spray applicators and water bombers throughout North America, particularly in the Canadian province of New Brunswick. Forest Protection Limited of Frederickson, New Brunswick, once owned and operated the largest civilian fleet of Avengers in the world. The PLF began operating the Avengers in 1958 after purchasing 12 surplus TBM-3E aircraft from the Royal Canadian Navy. The use of the Avenger fleet at the Forest Protection Limited peaked in 1971, when 43 aircraft were used as both water bombers and spray aircraft. The Forest Protection Limited was still operating 3 Avengers in 2010, configured as water bombers. The last Forest Protection Limited Avenger was retired on 26 July 2012. Now here in War Thunder, you can get your TBF. Let's take a look at the tree, and the TBF is the first Tier 2 light bomber, naval bomber, torpedo bomber that you can get. It's on the 3rd row, 3rd one down, right underneath the SBD. The TBF-1c Avenger naval bomber / torpedo bomber is a rank 2 aircraft with a battle rating of 2.0. has a max speed of 285 miles per hour with a turn time of 27.9 seconds. It comes equipped with 2 forward-firing 12.7 millimeter machine guns. It has one 12.7 millimeter machine gun in the upper turret and one 7.62 millimeter Browning machine gun in the ventral. So as you can see here, you have your two 50 cals, one in each wing here. You have a 50 cal here in the upper turret, and you have one 30 cal 12.7, correction, not 12.7, 7.62 machine gun right here. So this, although it's hard to tell, the Avenger is a large aircraft. And, you know, the 4 500-pound bombs is the same bomb load as the A-20. So, you know, this plane can carry a whole lot of bombs for its size, but it's not agile and it's not fast, so you need to stay away from everybody. Now, comparing this to the SBD being a dive bomber, the Avenger is not a dive bomber, and if you put it in too steep of a dive, you will lose the little crosshairs in your aiming circle, because it's not designed to attack at a super steep angle. But that being said, let's take a look at a game I recorded earlier today. Alright, we picked up Berlin Suburbs Ground Strike Light Vehicles. That's a pretty good map for the Avenger. 4 500-pound bombs, targeting distance set to 500 meters. It's a nice looking plane. See, now if you look right in here, the crew is actually 3, but you see a gunner in there and you see the 3 crew members. That ventral gun was actually fired by the radio man. He had to kneel down and fire that. So this depiction showing 4 people in the Avenger, I don't think is correct. I think it was only a 3-man crew in the Avenger. So let me decide which way I want to go, look and see which side of the map has the most dangerous airplanes on it. I'm going to try to stay up high for a while, do some high altitude bombing here. I'm a little above 9,000 feet. Couple on there. Let's try this one. We'll see how that works out for me. With the SBD, you don't get the bomber sight like you do in the Avenger. I do like using the bomber sight. It helps me stay up high. All right, we got 2. Yeah, 2 more. See, try to go for these stationary targets first, because they are usually the ones that are picked off first by the fighters and stuff. the stationary AAA and artillery, the howitzers and stuff. So if I can knock out as many of those as I can, then I'll come back and work on the vehicles. Here's another group. Let's see what we can do. Let 2 go on that. I'm up about a little above 11,000 feet right now. Really don't have anybody up here messing with me right this minute. That's always a good thing. You can do your damage without having to worry about too many folks, but when somebody does show us, go ahead and throw a couple on there. Moving ground targets from 7,500 feet. I don't know if I'll hit that, but might as well stick them down there anyway. AAA coming up after me. Let's take a look and see. Armored car. We're going to go down on the deck and get him. Here we go. See what that does. 4 bombs, 4 kills. That'll work for me. Ground win streak of 10. No enemy fighters over here, so I felt free to come down. Artillery. Take him out with my guns. Got my bombs back up now. Let's find this armored car. Oh, somebody. I think somebody's coming up behind me. Oh, an I-15. I don't know if he can catch me or not. But if you don't pay attention, I'm going to turn around and catch him. I'm going to come back over here and get this AAA. I don't want to get in a turning dog fight with him. This Avenger is not all that maneuverable. Let my gunner get some good work in on him. Got 2 bombs left. Merry Christmas. Here we go. 2 more. Ground win streak 14. I don't know what happened to that I-15. Oh, got no AAA there. I'm gonna have to go hunt for something else to bomb. Maybe that's him over there. I don't remember what his name was. Alright, we got our bomb load back up. Let's see, I-15, CR-42 I-15. Don't see anything super fast over this way, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of height without losing too much speed. Drop my nose and make a run through here. See if I can get away with this. Guns, yep. Another one for a gun kill. Yeah. Oh yeah. That lined up perfectly for me. get bombs here, and got them. See if I can lay some paint onto these 3 ground units right here. Don't want to get too low and get that bat blast, and got them. Get too low when you're dropping bombs, you end up blowing yourself up. Ground win streak 24. And we're still losing this game. Good Lord. Woo! Anybody need a grass cut? Alright, here we go. 1, 2. Ground win streak 27. What else have we got around here? Oh, that's a good ways away. I don't know if I'm going to make it over there before the game ends. We got 2 friendly vehicles left. They got 4. Let me get back over here. I'm coming to closing in on the enemy vehicles. Oh no. Sometimes it just doesn't matter what you do. The rest of your team's not pulling their weight. You can't pull it out. Mission failed. Dang it, man. Alright, let's see what we did. We picked up a multi-strike times 5 and ground win streak times 23. Got the Thunderer Award. We destroyed 27 vehicles or ground targets with 2 assists. Came in 3rd place on the team. I'm just looking at the numbers in the column here. I'm adding these up. I destroyed more ground units than the rest of the team combined. We still lost. Oh man, just fly over and, shoot something on the ground every once in a while. Alright, well, the SBD is more maneuverable, but the TBF can carry a better bomb load. So this was a look at the Grumman TBF Avenger. I like it. It's fun to fly. You can rack up some kills with it. So anyway, if you liked the video, like it. If you didn't, don't. Subscribe if you would. But as always, thanks for watching. Nerd out.